Whaley. And here we go, gentlemen. We have made it to the main event of UFC 300. Once again, going down at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, this Saturday night. And main eventing this historic night in the 205-pound division. Alex Pereira is defending his 205-pound title for the first time against the former light heavyweight champ, Jamahal Sweet Dreams Hill. Pereira, 9-2 as a pro, obviously with a storied kickboxing background. Jamahal Hill, also with a smaller record, only 12-1 for the Grand Rapids native who is only 32 years old. Omar, start us off. Give us your take and your pick.
This one's also really difficult to pick. I've always been on the Jamahal Hill train. I think I picked against him once. But I've been on the Jamahal Hill train for a very long time, kind of like I've been on the Jalen Turner train for a long time. But the Jamahal Hill train has paid off quite well throughout the years. And it's very difficult to pick against him. The reason why it's difficult for people to pick Jamahal Hill is because his performances don't always look the most technically savvy. He looks kind of like a street fighter in a sense. It's not like the most pretty, I guess, if you want to call it something, but the man knows what the hell he's doing in there. He's very smart with his setups. He's very smart with his feints. He's very accurate. His pressure is really good when he puts it on. And his ability to follow up and kind of smell blood and go for the kill, I think, is exceptional. And not every fighter has that in the UFC. That being said, Pereira is not new to the game. And in fact, when it comes to that stand-up game, I think he's definitely one of the most dangerous guys in that division. The leg kicks, I think, are on a different level. The fact that he can put down a man with just a handful of leg kicks, I think, is a real problem. I think will definitely play a factor in this fight as well. It's coming up with a conclusion as to who's going to win this fight is just really, it's really, really hard. I think I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Pereira here. There's things like the ankle that hasn't really gotten touched on, that we don't know how that healed and how quickly he came back from that injury and things like that. And I don't think he gets run over, Jamahal Hill, by any stretch of the imagination, but I just think Pereira is going to be able to get this one done. I don't even know if he knocks out Jamahal Hill. It's very possible this could go 5 rounds and just be a war. A lot of things could happen here, dude. This is a mess. But I'm just going to go with Pereira by decision.
It's a great fight.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go the other way. I think a lot more people are going to be taking Pereira here because he's just such a terrifying specimen of a human being. And I feel like Jamahal Hill, am I crazy, or is it? I feel like Jamahal Hill is slightly overlooked or underrated because the guy is.
I agree.
He's just such a winner, and I think because of the presence of the Alex Pereiras out there, people kind of don't realize just how phenomenal Jamahal Hill is as a fighter.
It might be the lack of flashiness in the way he fights, maybe the lack of athleticism compared to some other guys.
Yeah.
Could be the lack of physique compared to some other guys.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't really know what the deal is, but he's a lot better than people really give him credit for.
Right. I mean, to that point, since Contender Series, he just has seems like he's progressively putting on more weight, which is always a little disconcerting. But then you're reminded that especially in fighting sports, physique doesn't really mean all that much. It's not this guy is freaking ripped, he's gonna win. It's that's not how it works at all.
Tell Joaquin Buckley that, but I get your point.
Yeah. I imagine, Mark, that these odds are fairly close.
You're right this time. They are very close.
Okay.
So I imagine these are pick'ems.
Let's hear the odds then.
Pereira minus 130, Jamahal Hill plus 110. So borderline.
And I figured that Pereira would be the favorite, but I'm glad that they're as close as they are. That's what I was hoping for. And that being said, I'm going to go with my feel, with my gut on this one. It's a feel pick, and I'm going to say that Jamahal Hill surprises a lot of people, and I think he knocks Alex Pereira out. I'm going to say this is going to happen in the third round, in the middle of the fight. I think he wears on Pereira a little bit. I think Jamahal Hill is also deceptively big. I think he's a bigger guy than people realize as well. I mean, I remember when he fought Glover, like he was throwing head kicks. It looked like he was throwing body kicks. Like it was as though he was only having to lift his leg that high, because he's a big guy. It could happen the other way. Pereira could land that left hook, man, and put Hill on Queer Street. But that's my pick. I'm gonna say round 3 knockout for Jamahal Hill. Mark, take us home. Daddy's got to go to bed.
So minus 130 plus 110, as I said. The height is the same. 1 inch of reach for LX. Yeah, there's another one where I've gone back and forth quite a few times since it was announced. I hate that we have this cloud hanging over the fight where we know Jamahal wasn't supposed to return until summer, and yet here he is because UFC 300 needed a main event, and it seems like somehow he was suddenly fine and able to do it. So I'm a little worried about that. That aside, I don't think that Pereira is the ideal matchup for Jamahal Hill. And really, it's just because of the same 2 things that we've said this before in this show, that Alex Pereira just does 2 things really well. Obviously, he does more than that, but the calf kick to the lead leg that you can't see coming and that immobilizes you, and a nuclear left hook. Like, those are the 2 things we always talk about. And I think they both work against Jamahal Hill because I know Hill will fight southpaw and he'll switch back and forth, but in either scenario, I think they work simply because Jamahal Hill loves to push forward. He loves to bring the fight. He says it all the time. He's in there to fight. He's not in there to point fight or try to win rounds. He's in there to put it on you, and he's going to walk you down, and he's going to try to put it on you. And I just think walking Pereira down, that calf kick is going to be there on either leg, and that left hook is going to have a lot of opportunities to land. And, that's exactly what Alex wants. Think about the way that he handled Yuri when Yuri was walking him down. Like some of his past fights, like Izzy won't do that. Izzy will play the game with him, which made him more of a challenge. Yuri was all forward, and he paid for it. And Jamahal isn't as forward as Yuri, but he's forward. Now, can he just be moving forward and be landing cleanly? Like, yes, I even think he will be. I kind of think he is going to be winning more of the exchanges in this fight, which is why originally I was going to be picking him. But I just think at some point he's going to get caught. I don't know. I think the calf kicks will start to add up a little bit, especially if it's on that. I'm just so concerned about that fucking Achilles if he's getting kicked on that same leg. And then, Pereira's power's big, man. One check left hook lands and Hill survives it, but then 4 minutes later another one lands. Like that might be it. So I'm going to go with Pereira. I'm going to say again that Hill might actually be winning this fight until he's not, until some things add up. But I will go with Alex Pereira, round 3 knockout.
And that does it, folks. Oh man, that's quite the card that we just picked up.
Quite the card.
Facts.
Well, boys,